So in this video, I will explain you evolution. What is evolution and what are acquired and inherited characters. Actually, according to the environmental changes, even the species also will acquire some new characters, new traits. Okay, these things will be inherited in the offsprings. So that leads to evolution. But evolution is very slow and continuous process. Some scientists thought that in those days actually that was an abrupt change. But actually it was not an abrupt change. Gradually, slowly, continuously changes will occur. Even we observe many changes occurred for the past 2 or 3 decades we can observe. So this is because of according to the environment there will be changes in the every living animal, every living being. So these animals are the living beings. They will acquire according to the environment and they will inherit the characters. And the characters which are not inherited, that will be lost then and there, and that doesn't lead to evolution. Okay, so for evolution the character should be inherited through the genes. Okay, so before Lamarck, actually Lamarck is a scientist, before the biologist, and Jean-Baptiste Lamarck. And before Lamarck, actually people thought that there were no changes, or there were no progress, or there were no changes in the traits. But Lamarck for the first time observed that there were some changes that led to the change, or that led to the evolution in the nature. Okay, so what Lamarck has told, that is called as Lamarckism, and what he told is inheritance of acquired characters. Giraffe he observed, and he thought that actually giraffe in the beginning, it was just like the neck of giraffe was very short, just like the deer in those days. But when the food was not available properly, and there was a competition among the living beings for the food, because the plants and trees were not that much developed, then automatically these giraffes, because of the competition in those days, giraffes have increased the neck size, and while they were trying for the leaves of tall trees to pluck and eat. So for this purpose, the necks of the giraffes have been grown, and that led to the elongation of the giraffe's neck, and also the elongation of the forelimbs of the giraffe. That was that was observed by Lamarck, and he called it as Lamarckism. But actually immediately after Lamarck, this August Weismann has come, and he proved that that was wrong, because he observed 22 generations of rats, and actually he cut the tails of the rats, and the further generations did not get this cut tail. They have normal tails. So he proved that actually this Lamarckism is wrong. Okay, and after this, Darwin has, after basing on these two theories, Darwin has proposed one more theory. At the age of 22 years, he visited many lands, including Galapagos Islands, and there he observed a number of changes in the actually similar birds he had seen, and these small birds have small variations. Okay, so basing on that, he proposed one theory, and he called it as natural selection, and that is actually the theory of evolution. This is very famous. Natural selection is the theory of evolution. Okay, so what he observed here is actually accumulation of small. So finally he concluded that accumulation of small changes will lead to large changes actually. Okay, so large changes occurred because of the accumulation of small changes. He observed many. Actually, what is this natural selection? So that is nothing but natural selection is nothing but the survival of the fittest. Actually, what is the survival of the fittest? The useful traits only will be continued in the offsprings, whereas the useless things will be last then and there in the particular generation. So like that, he proved that only the see, for example, already in the previous video I discussed the example of beetles. Okay, here in the beginning the beetles were red in color. Afterwards, because of the crows and all, they have become green, and those green beetles, because of the natural color along with the plants and leaves and all, so these those green leaves, green beetles were survived. This is nothing but the survival of the fittest. Okay, so the nature has selected itself. This is otherwise called as natural selection. So survival of this is nothing but survival of the fittest. The nature has selected the traits which are strong, and that would be inherited to the following generations, offsprings. So these are useful traits. So the useful traits are the variations. There only the variations are retained. The useful traits only will be retained, whereas the useless traits will be lost then and there in the same generation. Okay, so like this he proved, and this is called as Darwinism or natural selection. Okay, and this Darwin, actually he was inspired by Malthus theory. What this Malthus has proposed is actually population growth leads to geometrical progression. So here he has proved that population growth, here see, food sources increase 1, 2, 4, 8. That means actually food sources increases like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in a sequential order, food sources increase he has observed. Whereas the population growth, this is doubled, like 1, 2 double, see 4 doubled, and again 8 and 16, like that. So here this population growth is not directly proportional to these food sources. So whatever population is there, then food sources are not meet. So this population cannot meet these food sources. Then automatically some generation, some beings will be, some living beings will be died because of lack of proper food supply. So like this, survival of the fittest. So finally he concluded this. Darwin has inspired by this theory, Malthus theory, and finally he concluded that survival of the fittest. The being which will get the proper food and proper environmental conditions which can withstand all the diseases and all, that can be called as this survival of the fittest. You can see even in COVID-19 also, during this also, many people have died, but the people who have got, even though this streak, the serious streak, even then some people have survived. So those are called as survival of the fittest. Okay, so this is natural selection. Then microevolution. What is microevolution? A small change. This is the beetle's example, already we have discussed, and only in the color of the beetle has been changed. Here one more thing, the scientist has observed that microevolution, during this microevolution actually a small change will occur even in the the beetles have been taken by, eaten by the crows. Some beetles, even then when they are carrying the crows, when they are carrying the beetles, some will fall down. Okay, those beetles, if they are in red color, those red colored beetles will survive. Or if they are in green color, then these green color beetles will fall, and the already some green colored beetles are there, already we discussed, no? So those were actually the survived ones. Okay, those survived green ones will be there in some bushes and all, and if this green colored or red colored beetle somewhere will be taken by this crow, a faraway place, then these red colored beetles or the green colored beetles, whatever it may be, that cannot mate with this the new area green colored beetles, though both of them are having the same color, both same origin, even then, because these green beetles have acquired the characters of the environment, new environment, that's why these will not allow the red ones, though these are from the same place. Okay, so like this acquired character will will have much impact on the evolution. Okay, so this is we can say this is microevolution, because only in the color of the beetle the change we observed. Now let us see homologous and heterologous organs. So till now we have seen that some evidences, evolution, about evolution we have studied, but there should be some evidences, otherwise we cannot believe it. So what are the evidences in evolution? That let us see now. Okay, so while observing these examples here, and the common anatomy we can observe. Okay, common anatomy means the structure, internal structure is same. Okay, same bone arrangement we can see in these examples. The internal structure of forelimb of a whale, the aquatic animal, that is a swimmer. Okay, here the forelimb acts as a swimmer, and wing of a bat, this wing of a bat will be helpful for flying. Okay, and leg of a cheetah, this is a runner, and claw of a mole, digger, hand of a man, grasping. Or actually all these will come under the mammals. Okay, so here in all these cases, see here the forelimb, the wing, the leg, the claw of a mole, hand of a man. All these will have different functions. Here swimming, flying, running, digging, and then grasping. All these are different functions. And the structure is also different. But only thing, what is the common thing is same origin. Homologous. Logous means origin. Okay, homo and similar origin. So they have come, this proved that they have come from the same ancestor. That is a common ancestor. So all of these examples are having the same ancestor. Okay, so all the vertebrates have come from the same common ancestor. Okay, so same origin and different functions and external structure. External structure is different. Here we have hand, and here this is digging for digging, and then the claw, and here for running the limbs, and the wing for flying. This is bat, and this is whale for swimming. So same structure, same origin, but function is different and external structure is also different. That's why these are called as homologous organ. Logous is nothing but the same origin. Then next one is heterologous. What is this is otherwise called as divergent evolution. Same origin but different functions. That's why this is called as divergent evolution. Then what is convergent evolution? That is just opposite. See here example, homologous organs. Wings of bats. Here we have seen wings of bat, but actually this is a forelimb in fact. Okay, but here wings of bats, they are having patagium. Patagium means having skin folds will be there. So between the wings of this bat we can see some skin folds, black folds we can see. So this is called as patagium. Okay, whereas if you take birds, wings of birds, they are having the same function. Bats and birds will fly, but the thing here is these wings of birds are not having any skin folds. Instead they have feathery covering. Okay, so this is the difference. So different origin. So we can say that these two have not come from the same origin. The origin is different, but the same function. What is the function here? Flying. Flying in both cases we can see, but origin is different. These structures are called as analogous structures, and this evolution is called as convergent evolution. Okay, then evidences from embryology. So till now we have seen evidences from the organ, origin, and the function, shape, external features and all. Now let us see evidences from the embryology. Actually, what is embryology? Embryology is nothing but the study of embryo. Okay, if you observe the embryos of different animals, that you can see even in the diagram. So the different animals, if you observe the fish, salamander, tortoise, chick, pig, calf, rabbit, human, all the embryos are of the same shape and same size. You can see even in your textbook 186th page. Okay, there you can see that all these animals are having the same embryological structure. Here you can see the embryos of all these animals from aquatic to terrestrial. All the animals are having the same embryological structure, and if they are in the embryological stage, we can't find out this embryo belongs to which species. So like that they have similar features. Okay, so with this also we can say that all these animals have come from the same common ancestor. Okay, and then next one is, see one more example here we can say tadpole of frog. Actually tadpole of frog resembles just like the fish. We cannot find out whether that is a fish or frog. So that much resemblances are there between tadpole of frog and fish. So we can say that both of them are the beginning, both of them are aquatic, and after that frog has become amphibian. Then evidences from fossils. Okay, actually what is fossil? Fossil means preserved traces of extinct organisms are called fossils. Actually see, many animals will die and their skeletons will not be completely buried in the soil. So if they are not buried in the soil, then their skeleton imprints will be fallen in the stones or the rocks, etc. So that will be printed permanently, and those traces we can see after a long time, and these traces are of the extinct organisms. So these are called fossils. By seeing these traces, by doing some research in the traces, we can say to which era these fossils have become. Okay, and the type of animals and their food habits, everything we can know, we can study with the help of these fossils. So these fossils, the study of fossils is called as paleontology. Okay, then next one is how this the age of fossils we can know. For that actually carbon dating method we use. Actually carbon dating method shows us age of fossils. What is this carbon dating method? That is nothing but breaking down of radioactive isotopes of carbon, uranium, potassium. Okay, so actually these three radioactive isotopes breaking down will take place at a known rate. Okay, so with this if because these fossils will be there on the rocks and stones and all. Okay, so sometimes in the mud also we can see, because in the mud the particular part of the animal will not be buried completely, and the remaining mud particles will become tighten and very hard, but this organism will be there like that without any change. So there also we can see the fossils. Okay, and so by saying this carbon, uranium, potassium isotopes breaking by this age of the rock, we can say to which age this fossil belongs. And the next one is ketosaurs. Actually ketosaurs are the magnificent fossils of dinosaurs only, and these are collected from Yamanapalli in Adilabad district of Telangana. Here in Telangana itself we have got this, and this is 14 meters in length and 5 meters in height. Okay, so this skeleton we can see even in the museum, Hyderabad museum. Okay, then next one is Archaeopteryx. Archaeopteryx is actually, this is a connecting link between aves and reptiles, because it is having the bird characters and also the reptile characters. Okay, that's why this is called as connecting link, and Archaeopteryx is the, that you can see the diagram in your textbook. Okay, this is having some bird characters and some reptilian characters. And then next one is human beings. Human beings are called as moving museum. So because here, see, many vestigial organs are there in our body. Vestigial organs means the organs we have, but they are not useful in our body. For example, you can see the mammary glands in man, and this what do you call the appendix in human beings. The appendix actually is not useful in the human beings, but whereas it is present in the digestive system, whereas in hair that will be useful very much. So like that, many organs are there in our body, but they are not useful, and these are called as actually vestigial organs, because they are present and they are not useful. Okay, and here atavism. What is this atavism? Atavism means actually suddenly we will see some mutations in the body. For example, a baby with a tail, baby with hands, all these news we get sometimes. Okay, this is nothing but the atavism, means sudden change, and this change will not be carried to the offsprings. Like that, we have 180 vestigial organs in our body. That's why man is called as moving museum. And some more examples I'll tell you. And pinna on skin, hair and skin, even that is not useful. And then pinna of the external ear. Pinna means external ear. And then the mammary glands in man. So all these are present in our body, but they are not at all useful. That's why these are called as waste organs. Waste organs are nothing but vestigial organs. So with this, our portion is completed. Thank you.